If you scare easily, swipe on. In 1989, a woman started hearing strange banging sounds in her walls and in the ceiling. Then one night, her crawl space to her attic was open, so she went to go have a look. When she's just feet away, an old man suddenly appears in the crawl space and looks her dead in the eye before vanishing. There was nobody else in the house. Worried no one's gonna take her seriously over apparent ghosts in her house, she ends up calling a paranormal investigator. Paranormal crew arrived. They were actually very skeptical until they heard loud banging in the attic. Then they decided to go up and have a look. As soon as the two men get up into the attic, one of them screams and suddenly disappears. The other, who didn't have a flashlight, starts using the flash in his camera to illuminate the attic. And he takes one of the most famous pictures in paranormal history. His partner, who was in total shock, had been lifted off the ground and tied to one of the beams. That was the last time the woman ever stayed in the house. However, it's still being rented out today, but nobody ever lasts longer than 1 or 2 months.
Get the fuck out of here. If that was the picture, get the fuck out of here.
Ever wonder what would happen if you stopped sleeping? During World War II, the Russians wanted to find a way to keep
I've heard about that before. I don't know if you guys have, but I think it's called the Russian sleep experiment. And that picture of that thing looking behind is like the mascot of this experiment. I don't know how true this is. I don't do research. I don't care to do research, but if you're interested, let me know. Maybe I'll dive into that.
Did you know there was a real ghost ship? On 1872, the Mary Celeste set sail from Staten Island, New York to Genoa, Italy. The Mary Celeste was a brigantine, boarding a 7-man crew, a captain, his wife, and 2 kids. 28 days later, on December 5th, a Canadian ship, Dei Gratia, found the Mary Celeste off the coast of Azores Island. Seemingly abandoned with one of its lifeboats missing, the ship was searched. There was 6 months of food and cargo was intact, but none of its crews were anywhere on the ship. Other than the ship being slightly disleveled, the Mary Celeste was still seaworthy. No reason for its abandonment made much sense. Till this day, it remains a mystery of what happened to the Mary Celeste.
What do you think happened? Just by hearing this story, I don't know, but maybe another ship came, fucked everybody up. But then why wouldn't they have taken everything on the ship? That's crazy. I have no idea. What do you think?
Sometimes reality is stranger than fiction. A couple renting in the woods wanted a relaxing vacation. The first 3 nights they relaxed and enjoyed each other's company. Later that night, the husband is woken up by the sound of banging on the front door. He goes down and asks who it is, and the banging sound stops. On the next day, he decides to tell the wife what happened, and she wants to leave. They ran towards their car and tried to turn it on, but nothing happened. Unable to call anyone and miles away from help, they decided to wait it out. On the 9th night, it knocked on their bedroom door. When he opened the door, he saw this tall, pitch-black figure just watching him 10 feet down the stairs. Panic, he stumbles down into the room and closes the door. The tall man opened the door. As the husband was getting ready to strike him with the axe, the tall man began screeching like something never heard before. The husband manages to strike him multiple times in the chest, though, before getting knocked down by the tall man unconscious. The last thing he remembers is the screams of his wife. He wakes up the next day and can't find his wife anywhere. The husband couldn't bear the loss, so he hung himself in the forest. Weeks later, his wife's body was found in the furnace with multiple axe wounds in the chest.
I wanted to believe this for a second, but how do we know the last thing he remembers was the screams of his wife if he wound up himself? Smells like bullshit.
This is why you never provoke spirits. An overnight cleaning lady kept hearing things during her shifts, but when she told her friends, they wouldn't believe her. So one night before her shift, her friends dared her to record herself provoking these entities of the house. She would dearly regret this, since that house would end up being one of the most haunted houses in the world. Take a look.
What? Right, I'm coming out, wherever you are. This isn't funny no more. This is not funny! F*** off. Right, I've just shut door. Bed. I'm going to sit on the bed. I daren't move.
Get the fuck out of here.
I want to go down. I'm just going to ask the little girl that's in the little bedroom. Emma, I'm sorry for shouting, sweet. Will you open the door for me, please? I have just seen something. Right, that's it. I'm off down. I can't take no more.
Damn. I was gonna say that's probably a BS, but I don't know. I saw that thing at the end too. What do you think that was? But it's like it's too good to be true, right? Oh, Em, I'm sorry for yelling. Open the bloody door, and the bitch opens the door. Come on, come on.
Are you guys ready for another pandemic lockdown? Because I'm not. Okay, so new virus. No, not that Transformers of COVID named Omicron. Monkeypox. I'll fill you in as quick as possible in regards to this new monkeypox virus. The virus is a less deadly cousin of the smallpox, initially transmitted from animal to human, kind of like rabies. It can also be spread through 3 different ways so far. Human-to-human contact with an infected area, contact with infected body fluids, and sleeping on the same bedding that an infected person used. It's not airborne, thank God. Symptoms are fever, headaches, muscle aches, respiratory symptoms, and blisters. So it started in 1958 from research monkeys in Africa, but it first made its way to the US in 2003. A family had a prairie dog from Ghana, but the family was quarantined properly. Now May of 2022, some dude is suspected of bringing it to the UK and starting a new spread to the US. So the question is...
Absolutely not. I don't think it's going to work again after what had happened in 2020. I don't think people are going to sit down and tolerate being in their house for 2 years. What do you think? Do you think people are going to be stupid enough to fall for that again?
Creepy, unexplained sounds, part 11. A content creator by the name TechRax traveled 7 hours to a desert in Nevada. He wanted to test out an iPhone 11 Pro by dipping it inside one of the hot springs located there that goes by the name the Devil's Cauldron. As TechRax descends the iPhone with a drone to the scalding waters that reach over 180 degrees. Initially, nothing really happens to the phone, but when he goes for a second try, he records something horrifying. After discovering those sounds, TechRax was terrified, and he says he has no idea what could have caused those sounds that were coming from the Devil's Cauldron.
Hey, first of all, imagine falling into that shit. Imagine you just fucking falling 75 feet into 180-degree boiling water. But as far as that sound goes, that's probably just the water messing with the inside of the phone and causing screeching, and I can't imagine it being paranormal in there, right? YouTube, if you're enjoying this, hit the fucking subscribe button. Let's get back to it.
This man was driving down a haunted road when this happened. On a late Sunday night, a musician by the name Eder Olivas was making his way home. His family had fallen asleep, so Eder was driving alone. He was driving through Highway Saltillo Torreon in Mexico, which is believed to be haunted from the many people that have lost their lives in these roads. While driving through the dark road, Eder sees something from the corner of his eye. You can see what looks like a headless woman running against traffic. Eder says he did not believe it at first, since he was so tired he thought he was hallucinating. But after reviewing the clip, that event will haunt his nightmares.
I got chills. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that shit was scary. And whenever it's in another country, I just assume there's more plausibility for it being real. What do you think?
This man found and moved into a really cheap apartment in Japan, but the apartment was haunted. Let me explain. A paranormal channel by the name Omagataki Film investigated the case after a man named Taguchi reached out to them for help. Taguchi explains to them, "I was apartment hunting and found a super cheap deal, but it had a catch. The previous owner took his own life in the same room I would be sleeping in. I didn't believe in ghosts, so I signed the lease." He mentions that he now experiences sleep paralysis and hears voices late at night. And in his dreams, he says he sees a distorted, laughing face staring down at him as he lays there. The crew placed cameras overnight, and what they captured is straight out of a horror film. Take a look. You can see a pale figure standing in the hall, watching him struggle. As Taguchi wakes up, the figure vanishes. What's even creepier is that in that hall, there's a camera and captured a distorted face. The same face that Taguchi described in his dreams.
I don't know. Japanese videos, I feel like, are too good to be true. Because I remember someone saying at one point, why does Japan get full body apparitions that we can see, but in America, we got fucking orbs and little specks? Like, I don't know. It just seems too good to be true. But what do you think? Do you think this person really saw it? I'm going to say, yeah.
This man went to explore the most haunted cemetery in South America. And what he captured is horrifying. Urban explorer Frank from Franco TV visited the Presbítero Maestro Cemetery in Peru. He immediately found a ton of witchcraft, from voodoo dolls to carved scriptures all around the tombs. But Frank wanted to visit the crypt of a famous witch who died in 1897 by the name Gregoria Camacho. When Frank finds her crypt, something terrifying happens.
Isn't it? Hello?
He hears a woman laughing, but he can't find the source of the sound. Frank decides to continue, and as he's exploring these open crypts, he records another creepy encounter.
There's X's.
Frank doesn't notice, but you can hear someone whispering, "Hola."
You see that?
Damn. I don't know. It gave me chills, and you know what I say? I haven't said this in a while. If it gives me chills, it gives me thrills. But as far as Franco goes, from what I've heard, I don't know how true this is, he bullshits a lot of his videos. But with this, I don't know. Could be real, could be bullshit. What do you think?
This grocery store actually had a tormented spirit or something locked inside their freezer. So a few years ago, a man by the name Tyler Rowe worked at a Kroger's grocery store in Powell, Tennessee. The staff claims that every morning at 9:01 a.m., someone or something starts knocking on the freezer door.
Oh!
Is there a light? Is there a light in here? And there's nothing in here. There's nothing, nobody.
Just 1 minute later at 9:02 a.m., the door slams open, and the staff says this happens every day. What's interesting enough is 2 months later, after posting the video, a Kroger's employee commented on the video confirming these events. They even replaced the freezer door, and it still continued.
Yeah, I think it could be real, because if any of you have felt one of those freezer's doors before, pulled it open or pushed it open from the inside, they're a little heavy. And that sucks ass. Imagine being a ghost and trapped inside a Kroger freezer for all eternity. Holy shit, what the fool did you piss off?
These two guys were driving along a haunted highway when this happened. This eerie dashcam footage shows two guys driving along a highway in the middle of the night, when out of nowhere, a woman walks towards their truck. The two guys immediately stopped the truck and called 911, but neither them or the police could find this woman. What's even creepier is that they would later find out that that figure that looked like a teenage girl had died in these roads. She had been making her way back home one night when she was hit by a truck.
Of course she was hit by a truck. Like what? Of course she died on that road. What else do you expect?
This is why you feel like someone is watching you sometimes.
Oh my
TikTok
God.
user Andy was recording a seemingly innocent lip sync video when this happened. You can see someone or something poking out of the corner watching him. Andy shows that that corner is only a few inches wide. So, if a person wouldn't be able to fit in there, what was that?
It's a fucking ghost.
This man was exploring a haunted prison and heard a weeping woman. What he found is horrifying. Late one night, Frank from Franco TV was exploring La Fortaleza Real prison in Peru. This place holds a dark past since over 50,000 inmates were executed. So many people have been buried in these grounds that their bodies began to surface the soil. Frank decides to descend onto the deepest chambers of the prison in hopes of capturing the paranormal. As he's making his way through the narrow halls, he begins to hear what sounds like muffled cries coming from deep within the chamber. Frank hears what sounds like a weeping woman just on the other side of the wall. As he gets closer to the voice, what he finds is horrifying.
What is this room?
Frank finds a statue in the middle of a dark and empty room. So, where were these voices coming from? He was exploring an abandoned house when this happened. In 2020, a paranormal investigator by the name Patrick went to explore a haunted house with a dark past. Legend says that in that house there were dozens of murders, so it holds a lot of negative energy. As Patrick explores the house, he finds a bunch of strange symbols all around the place. As he goes further inside the house, he captures something watching him in the dark.
What was that?
Take a look. Patrick accidentally captures a shadow figure staring at him as he's exploring the house.
I'm gonna be honest, after that video that we watched before this one, I really don't give a fuck about what's going on with anything else.
An anonymous taxi driver in Japan uploaded a horrifying video. At 1 a.m. as he's driving down a road, he sees a woman waving for a ride, so he makes a stop. He remotely opens the door with a switch, but he thought, since no one got in the car, he closed the door and went on with his route. As the man drives through a dark tunnel, his driver recorder captures something truly horrifying.
タイヤ入り込んでる。
A dark shape of a disfigured woman can be seen in the back of his car. After discovering the footage, the taxi driver says he didn't see nor hear anything in the back, although he says he felt an ominous presence at the time of the event.
I have never in my life felt so scared and like that is such bullshit at the same time. How the fuck did they get such a clear photo of this ghost, right? Like, come on. But it's Japan, so.
This is why you get a feeling like someone is watching you. A paranormal investigator by the name Kuroshiro investigates a strange haunting in an outer order room of a hotel. This story in that room is that someone passed away in a horrific way. Ever since then, the room has been left vacated. Kuroshiro sets up his equipment and investigates the haunting. But as he's approaching a dark section of the room, he notices a door slightly open. As he turns around, this is what he found. Shiro sees a dark figure standing in the corner watching him. He believes he saw the spirit of the deceased victim of this room.
So how tall is this deceased victim of the room? Like 7 feet tall? You can't teach that. And I barely saw it. It looked like a coat hanging on the back of a door, right? Or maybe I'm just missing something. I don't know. YouTube, that is all I have for you today. I am Nick, the Babadook of YouTube, as I fix my beard. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you sticking through to the end. Let me know what your favorite clip was in this. Mine was that Franco TV one with the fucking statue. Scared the shit out of me. Made me scream like Homer Simpson for the longest time. Like, comment, subscribe, all that bullshit. I'll catch you in the next one.